Hi, I'm Lauren Masi, Doctor of Physical Therapy and board-certified orthopedic clinical specialist. I'm also the owner and clinical services director of Bay Area Physical Therapy and Lafayette Physical Therapy. Today we're going to talk about some health tips for new mothers from a physical therapist. One area that I do feel Western medicine sometimes fails us is in letting us know what to expect, both when we become pregnant, during delivery, and after, during the postpartum phase. Sometimes you'll hear the term the fourth trimester. And again, everybody is starting to learn what that means, and it can be different for different women. So I know a lot of people might go to their family and friends for advice, other women who've had children already, which is fine and dandy. However, sometimes they're going to be a little bit biased to their particular situation and what they had experienced. And I want everybody to know that all experiences are not the same. Even within the same woman, different pregnancies can be different. Changes in your body are common, but you don't have to live with them, and you don't have to let them linger. You also have to realize that some things might be common, but not normal. So for example, postpartum, or even maybe during pregnancy, you might have started to experience some incontinence. Again, I know even myself, when I'm in groups of women, they're like, oh, I leak a little bit. Yeah, but that's normal. And I want to break that. That's not necessarily normal. It's common for a lot of people, but it's not normal. You weren't leaking before, and you certainly don't have to leak after. Now, everybody's particular case is different. How your delivery went can play a big bearing on how your postpartum recovery goes. And this is with regards to specific pelvic floor issues, maybe even pelvic pain that you're having. And we have to look back at what your body just went through. Normally, a quick rule of thumb is, it took you 9 months to be pregnant and grow that baby. Give yourself at least 9 months after to feel like you're back to your old self. We have to realize all the changes that our body went through during pregnancy. Right? Your breasts might have gotten larger. They might still be larger because you're still breastfeeding. And that can definitely change what your upper body posture is like, weighing you down a little bit. So good supportive bras are a good place to start. Also, you're now holding this little newborn. Everything's in front of you. You might be breastfeeding or even just holding a bottle feeding. Your arms are rounding forward, your shoulders are rounding forward, and you're always looking down at the baby. So it is common, although not necessarily normal, for you to have upper back and neck pain. You might also start to notice some wrist and hand pain. Very common to get tendinitis postpartum as you're doing all these new fine motor tasks, little intricate things with these little bodies, and holding and gripping more. So tendinitis can be common. You might be having lower back and even what we call SI joint or sacroiliac joint pain, kind of in the back sides of your pelvis, maybe even in the front side of your pelvis, right on that pubic bone, because of all the motion and laxity that occurred during pregnancy and during delivery for you to allow that baby to come into the world. So one thing to be aware of is that if you are continuing to breastfeed or even pump milk, but you are producing milk for your baby, your hormones will require your body or cause your body to remain lax during that whole postpartum period as well. So obviously most of us like to be able to provide those nutrients to our child, but give yourself some grace in knowing that if you're choosing that, it might be a little bit harder for your body to stabilize postpartum and get back to your old self. But you certainly can, once cleared medically, based on your delivery, usually around the 6-week mark or 8 weeks if it's a C-section, pending no complications, that you can start getting back into your strengthening and workout routines. Start is my keyword. Don't jump right back in where you were before, because most likely you took some time off or you started to back off at the end of your pregnancy. So don't jump right back in at 100% the minute you're cleared. That can actually cause some trouble as well. So I say that because one of the most common mistakes I see with women is, again, your belly muscles, all your abdominals, your pelvis, all those ligaments have been stretched out. And we have to return them back to their normal length tension relationship as your ligaments start to kind of stiffen up again postpartum, to be able to mitigate the pressures that you exert during exercise. So if you did see one of my prior blogs, we did talk about the diaphragm and breathing during exercise. The system wants to mitigate pressures. And if you don't, some of you might have heard or might have what we call a diastasis recti, which is the splitting down the middle of your abdominal muscles. And sometimes tissue might actually bulge out between that. That is something we do want to avoid and can be avoided through proper training, controlling your breathing appropriately, and strengthening the abdomen and pelvic floor. We certainly can help guide you with that in physical therapy. Other ways that we want to prevent pain is with stretching and good posture. So again, if you are in this very forward rounded posture for feeding and holding your baby, you might need to do some front of the chest opening and stretching of your pecs, maybe over a foam roller, in a doorway, variety of ways to do that. And then strengthening between your shoulder blades. So again, all those postural strengthening muscles. We've also talked about that in a prior vlog. So again, it all is tied together, and we want to make sure that we start rebuilding you, building block by building block. One thing I will say is if I've caught you early in your postpartum phase, use pillows and boppies and things to help position you in a way where maybe those items can help hold the baby up closer to you so you're not having to do so much holding or crouching down. But at the end of the day, what's most important is to take time for your own self-care. Get back to your usual activities, take some walks, get outside, drink a lot of water, especially if you are breastfeeding or pumping, so that we can maintain that supply for your baby. But you have to take care of you before you can take care of your little one. If you need any help getting you back on track during your postpartum phase, please reach out to Bay Area Physical Therapy today. Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, for more information on breathing, please reference our vlog. However, we also have a couple other vlogs that might be helpful in this situation. Pregnancy and how it affects your body, the importance of pelvic floor health. Also, we do have a vlog on massage therapy, which can help get your aches and pains gone postpartum and help you get back to yourself. And lastly, how to relieve carpal tunnel with physical therapy. Thanks so much.